everybody, I'm Teresa Perrin, and I want to discuss with you SI and what on earth is happening in the after hours with this stock, as well as new institutional buying. So this stock is getting very, very juicy with a lot of very heavy runs up and down. And I wonder what's happening tomorrow, but let's talk about what happened today, and then we can form a thesis on if this is a buying opportunity or not. Let's get started. Please remember, nothing I say is financial advice. Always do your own DD, and if you could, smash that like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so today this stock was up 29.13% and even more at its high of $24.71. Then it sold down, consolidated, failed to make a new high, came back down again, was consolidating at that level, and in the after hours, it dumped. At first glance, I was very confused because when I pulled up the news, I saw, this one first. Silvergate 13G filing shows State Street Corp increased the stake in company to 9.3%. So, if State Street's buying more, we know that when BlackRock announced that they bought 7.2%, the stock skyrocketed. So I was a bit confused by that, unless I was like, maybe people think they're buying it to lend out shorts. Maybe that's what's causing it. But no, guys, that wasn't the case. Bloomberg reported that the U.S. prosecutors in the Justice Department's fraud unit are looking into Silvergate Capital's dealings with FTX and Alameda Research. Well, no surprise there that, there's a lot going on as far as FTX, crypto, Alameda, that whole thing. And that being said, guys, I still feel like SI is going to be a comeback kid type story. So here's my take on it. If you're looking for buying shares, this may create a very good opportunity because I think you're seeing pressure now as people sold off on that news. You probably are likely seeing this move higher because shorts are scooping them up saying, oh God, we got a second chance, because they know that they were pretty much in a really bad place because this thing was, for the last 2 days, essentially pretty much squeezing. And now we see that it has a very nice pullback before that runs level. So this gives a second opportunity to a lot of these shorts, and I think that they're going to take it. But I also think that if you're into looking for arbitrage scenarios, like where you get a sudden dump after bad earnings or bad news or whatever the case may be, and then a recovery the next day. So for those who have options tomorrow, I don't know, maybe a buying frenzy comes in and pushes them up higher. But that's why you always need to take profits. So I'll tell you how I played this. I sold out of all my contracts today and ended up buying back 2 at the very end of the day as just a YOLO play on pure profits, knowing that it could dump, but it could also rocket the next day. Well, it dumped. So all I have to say is I am very happy that I followed my rules and I took my profits, because otherwise I would be crying right now. But that being said, I think that there will be buying opportunity down here. And here's why. Most essentially is because, look at this. The short interest is over 70% of the free float. And I'm guessing part of that sell-off was shorting algos on the news. Computer modules to sell. So were they selling short? It's very possible. So this short interest may have actually gone up on that news. But the short interest at 70% would take 2 days to cover with the current amount of trading that's going on. As you can see today, the average volume is 7.73 million shares. And today, 1.5 times the entire free float was traded. Now, that is not normal in a stock like this. I mean, I know in like tiny small caps, people are used to seeing crazy stuff like this happen, but this really should not be happening on a bank. That is not normal. The volume was 40.12 million, which, was almost 6 times the normal volume, 5.5, 6 times the normal volume. And with a free float of 25.35 million, you kind of wonder what's going on here. Seriously, kind of crazy, especially where you're seeing these institutions have such a large ownership in it, because institutions don't usually day trade when they're reporting these earnings that they've taken a position in a company, especially in one like Silvergate that's been beat down as bad as it is. I'd be very surprised to see a filing from BlackRock or State Street showing that they immediately sold this position, because I think that it has the potential to go much higher. Yeah, the DOJ investigation, I mean, you have to be honest. It was kind of, the writing was on the wall. At least for me, I knew this would come in one day. Didn't know it was going to be today, or, actually, I don't know if I would have played it different. I probably still would have bought something as a YOLO with a little small portion of profits, because let me tell you guys, those contracts printed, and they printed nice. But anyways, let's see. The short interest, the short share availability to borrow at last check was at 300,000. So you could see, like, during the day, it had gone progressively down. It went up at some point, but then it started going back down again. Guys, very, very curious as to what's going on, but I really think that a lot of after hours, it happened so fast that it has to be algos. All right, so the cost to borrow is cheap, 7.91%. So, if shorts still want to short, they have the opportunity to do that at a very cheap price. We do not have today's short volume ratio in yet. Maybe this is something new that Fintel's doing, or maybe I just checked later in the day previously. But I'm noticing that on a lot of names lately that this info isn't coming in right away. But anyways, the short volume over the past week has been essentially between, 54 and 62.55% today, or yesterday being 55.21%. So guys, this just gives you a rough idea of how much they're actually shorting for shares that go into the dark pool. And as you can see, every day it's been more than half. So even doing that, they've lost control of being able to keep this price down, unless that's no longer their intention, of course. All right, and as far as failure to delivers go, on the last reporting day of this 2-week cycle, they had 48,238. So only a small amount. I guess compared to what it's normally at, it's about maybe average if you were to take all these together. It's gone up as high in the last couple of weeks as 328,000. So this will definitely be something to keep an eye on, though, because obviously now that they're doing, 7 to 8 times the normal volume, those numbers could go up quite significantly. But guys, I just wanted to bring this to your attention because I know that there's some arbitrage traders out there that, will ride that wave for a quick profit. But if you don't know it, you don't understand it, I just suggest you learn by watching the chart and seeing what happens in a play like this. It's kind of hard to predict what's going to play out, but usually it's algos that send it down that quickly, and then you see people taking advantage of the situation or shorts starting to cover that drives the price back up. So if you had time to actually sit there and play a trade, it may be an interesting time to actually take a position and ride it back to the upside. But guys, again, if you're new, I suggest you try that paper trading or some other way, because you shouldn't play with a play like this that moves this wildly with money that you don't want to lose. So thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. And please remember, this should be a great reminder to everybody to always lock in profits.